All right, guys, what's going on? I am back. It is Monday. It's the 7th of October. It's 11:30 a.m. here in Germany. This is the Insanity Report for today, and we are going to talk a little bit about FEMA, right? So apparently FEMA, which is trying to, coordinate help in the areas that need it after the hurricane last week in the United States. North Carolina has been especially hard hit by it. We're going to get back to North Carolina in 1 second. But FEMA has said, well, we're out of money, guys. We don't have any more money. We need more money. We need more funding. We can't do this job without more funding. That's one problem, okay? The next problem is that FEMA is apparently blocking people, organizations, including the organization of Elon Musk, Starlink, from getting into areas where the help is needed. So there are people wanting to assist, and Starlink has been involved in numerous catastrophic situations trying to restore internet in places where it was broken so that people can get help where they need it quicker. And suddenly they're trying to be of assistance in North Carolina, where actually the government should be doing stuff like this, but they're not, you know. Now you've got FEMA in there without any money and also blocking assistance from outside sources from getting in to helping the people that need the help the most. Now, why are they doing this? Well, who knows, right? Because they haven't responded, as far as I know, to the reason as why they are blocking Elon Musk's company, Starlink, and the employees from getting into the areas where the catastrophe is the worst in order to restore internet for those people. Why are they doing that? Well, they're being secretive about why, which means they have something to hide. Now, I'm sorry. I know that there's people out there, especially the lefties, that think, oh, God, here we go. Again, a conspiracy theory from the right. Oh, yeah, you're so mistrusting. You're so cynical. Hey, look, I have every reason to be mistrusting and cynical, at least since COVID. And if you look back long enough, you'll see for a long time, governments, especially the U.S. government, have been lying to their citizens about absolutely everything. You know what I mean? And basically, when they get caught doing something they're not supposed to be doing, they lie about that as well, or keep secret the reason as to why. We still don't know shit about the first Trump assassination, etc. COVID, no accountability, etc., etc. I talk about it all the time. And now they've got FEMA in there saying they're broke and also not working to help people. No, they're working to block people who want to help people, right? So that's crazy to me. So what are they hiding? Well, we'll get into that in just a second. I don't know what it is, but it could be a couple of things. And I think that basically they're probably trying to hide their incompetence, let's be honest, but it could be something else. I'll get into that with you in just 1 second. Because let's go back to the we have no money thing. FEMA has no money and needs more money in order to help Americans in need during time of catastrophe. Well, why is that? You know, why is it, where's their budget gone? Did it go to all the people in Hawaii? No. Did it go to the East Palestine, Ohio people? No. Did it go to the last hurricane deal in the United States a couple months ago? No. No. It doesn't go to any of that. It went to rehousing and moving around illegal immigrants and migrants, and it went to basically to migrants, illegal and otherwise. That's not what FEMA's job is. See, FEMA gets a budget so that they can help American citizens in catastrophe situations in America. It has no business nor any mandate to dish out their budget to illegal migrants crossing the border illegally in order to get them from one place to another. That's not a real catastrophe. That's a man-made catastrophe made by the government, who is forcing the people who do the job at the border to stand down and let a bunch of illegals over the border, right? FEMA is not for that. But the Biden administration, as with everything, they just kind of do what they want to do. They don't really pay attention to laws and regulations and rules and the balance of power or the checks and balances on power. They don't pay attention to any of that. You know, they just want to, they cancel school loans, or they give away money for school loans, even though they know it's illegal. They've been struck down now twice, yet they continue to try to buy voters, right? So, Biden administration, no surprise to us at all, that has now used FEMA to be able to do what they need them to do involving all the illegal immigrants. I don't know what exactly all the money's going to. I'm sure it's going to moving them around, transport for illegal immigrants, housing for illegal immigrants, all kinds of stuff that it's not there to do. And so now they've pissed away all their money on illegal immigrants, and they don't have any money left for American citizens. That's great. That's great. That's another attest to this wonderful, wonderful government. Very good, guys. Very good. Very good. So now, instead of getting punished or getting defunded completely, now we're going to have to hear about how Congress has to fund FEMA more money. And I'm sure Mike Johnson is going to be all on board with that, because he's going to get guilted into it, just like he did with everything else, if they don't just wave whatever they have on him over his head again this time. Because the Democrats will be able to say, well, look, the Republicans don't give a fuck about the people in North Carolina, and they don't give a shit about the people in need because they won't fund FEMA. And that's all the dumbass people who are uninformed are going to need to hear. I mean, there are people right now in America saying that it's a complete conspiracy theory and total bullshit that FEMA has given money, their budget, to illegal immigrants. While FEMA announces that they did so on their own website, right? They have made clear on their own website what they have spent the money on. It's not a secret. They're not being secretive about it, right? And still you have Democrats and leftists online talking about, no, that's a right-wing conspiracy theory. It's not true. They are not giving money to illegal immigrants. That's not what their budget's for. Their budget is for catastrophe help. That's not what they're doing. They're doing it, people. And see, so their ploy to get the Republicans to bend over and take it in the ass once again will work, because they're going to say, if the Republicans don't give more money to FEMA, they're going to say, Republicans don't care about the people of America, guys. And so they ruined it. They're not giving FEMA any more money, while Republicans should be saying to FEMA, you know what? We're just going to go ahead and roll it up, right? We're going to set aside money for catastrophe help, and we're going to send it to the local and state authorities as needed when, depending on what state things happen in, they're going to send it there directly to the state authorities and the local authorities who have to deal with the catastrophe on the ground. That would be a better thing to do, and they're going to get rid of FEMA altogether. That's what the Republicans in the House needs to be doing. They need to be rolling up these corrupted, crazy agencies that suddenly assume power about every little thing. You know what I'm saying? They assume power. Now they take it upon themselves to be the almighty power broker in the area, not letting Elon Musk and Starlink get through, not letting people that want to help get through, not letting supplies get through. For what reason? Who the fuck knows? They just decided that they have the power to do that, which they don't. FEMA is actually only there when their only mandate is they will come to the aid of state and local authorities when they don't have enough manpower, they don't have enough cash, they don't have enough resources in order to help the people in their state or local areas that are suffering under some sort of natural disaster or other catastrophe. The FEMA is not a federal government agency that has any power to delegate who gets in, who gets out, why they can get in, why they can get out, if Elon Musk can set up Starlink or not. They have no authority for any of that. But they're taking it upon themselves to wield that authority, as all of these government agencies lately have been doing. They completely are out over their skis, and it needs to be reined in, and the only way to rein it in is to get leftist ideologues and Democrats out of power immediately, because this shit is not working. And the Republicans need to roll up organizations and departments like FEMA. They're useless. They're clearly useless. If they can't even stick to their own budget and be forced to use the money for what it is there for, which is catastrophes for Americans in need, not illegal immigrants crossing the border illegally, they should get nothing. Nothing. As a matter of fact, they should be turned back. You know what I'm saying? That's what should happen. But that's not happening. And so FEMA has been negligent enough to allow their budget to be used on shit that they're not mandated to do. And now they're crying for more money, which they're probably going to get from the weak-ass, spineless Republicans in the House, who have the only power they have is the power of the purse, with which they could do a lot of damage on these corrupt departments. But they just refuse to do it. They renew everything. They rubber stamp everything. And if they decide they're not gonna, I guess somebody who goes and talks to them, like they did with Mike Johnson, and sit him down and say, Mike Johnson, you're gonna do what we tell you, because you don't have any own authority. You don't have any own free will to make decisions. You have to live under our rules. That must be happening, because what else explains the 180s that Mike Johnson has been making since he's been Speaker of the House? Anyway, it's a pretty sad state of affairs. It's another proof, another evidence, more evidence that these government agencies are running rogue, and the only way to stop that is to cut off the money, and if you let yourself get kowtowed or bullied into giving them more money, they're never going to change their strategy. Why would they? If they're allowed, without punishment, without retribution, to spend, without accountability, to spend their whole budget on shit that they were not mandated to do, and then they just get a new budget which is even higher, that they can also then do whatever the hell they want with, well, then, where's the control? Where are the checks and balances? They're gone. They're gone. Right? And because of this organization, help is not getting to the people as fast as it could be. Right? Internet could be restored because of Starlink, that has done this in catastrophe areas numerous times. Internet could at least be restored. Supplies could be getting to the people out there. No, instead, you've got a bureaucratic entity that claims to have no money that is now blocking aid to the people that need it. That's madness. Now we're going to get to the really conspiratorial part, right? And as conspiratorial as it sounds, we live in an age, a day and age, where conspiracy theories don't remain theories very long. Most conspiracy theories that we have posited the last 4 years, 5 years, have come true. Pretty much all of them have come true, right? Everything. And so it's not that conspiratorial or conspiracy theory-like to posit what I'm about to say here. Now, I got a message, and I'm going to put this article with its video down at the bottom of in the description, so you guys can take a look at it yourselves. But apparently, North Carolina, the area that got hit hardest by this flooding and hurricane, under that land is a mega amount of lithium. And lithium mining companies have been trying to get into that land for a while, but North Carolina citizens have been fighting against it. The counties, the states have been fighting against it. And so that's going to make it very, very difficult for these lithium mining companies to get in there. Now, why is it so important that America gets to the lithium? Well, America's policy is the going green, the CO2 neutral, even though that pretty much makes no sense, policy. And so they need lithium for the batteries, for all the cars that they want to produce. You know what I'm saying? And of course, lithium is a big money maker. So they'll be able to export lithium. They'll be able to use the lithium. That it doesn't matter what reason it is, really. The government wants in there, and the mining companies want in the North Carolina soil in order to get down there to mine that lithium. That is not so strange. You know what I mean? That's not so strange. Now, they're not going to be able to do that if those pesky citizens living there aren't eventually going to capitulate and give up the land, give up their houses, whatever it is. What better way, right? What better way to be able to get in there anyway is if those people were just washed away. You know what I'm saying? Just washed away by a natural disaster like a hurricane, and, they just kind of aren't there anymore. And that would give free rein to the mining companies that want to get in there and start mining the lithium. Now, do I know for sure that there's a big, giant, megaton lithium capacity under North Carolina? No, I don't know that for sure, but I mean, the lithium companies are trying to get in there, so there must be some, right? Would I put it past the government to use such a situation, like a natural disaster, in their favor in order to be able to get to that lithium at the cost of people's well-being, their houses, their homes, and their situation and their ability to live where they were living before the hurricane? No. As a matter of fact, you know what I mean? I think that the government has done plenty of dirty tricks to its own population on all kinds of grounds, right? All kinds of subjects, all kinds of things. You know, you've got all kinds of experiments that the government has done on unwitting subjects as citizens of the United States. You've got the deal in Hawaii where people got $700. Still, there's no rebuilding going on. Still, there's big problems in Hawaii. You've got the response to Palestine, Ohio. The government needs money to be able to send to all the other countries, not for you guys, right? You guys in America are not your government's priority. Illegal aliens are the government's priority. Ukraine is the government's priority. And Israel is government's priority. And everything going on everywhere on the fucking planet is the government in America's priority, except for the people who live in America. And they're showing that once again. It is time to wake up, okay? It's time to wake up and get all these people out of power. I've said it over and over again in my videos. Not going to harp on it this time. Now, would the government use a natural disaster like this to their advantage so they can get into this lithium? Yes. We know they probably would, right? Would they do something on purpose in order to get into this lithium? Yeah, I think they probably would. You know what I mean? They're pretty evil, right? I mean, we know look, they basically tried to force everybody to get a vaccine that was new, nobody knew anything about it, and is now causing mega problems amongst the large majority of people that got them, right? And they basically threatened you to not have a livelihood anymore. Either you get the vax or you're fired and you don't have a job and you don't get any money. Well, that's pretty evil. If they're willing to go that far, of course they're willing to do something, trickery, some debauchery, some crazy scheme in order to get the people in North Carolina off the land that they want to get into. Of course they would. But what could they do? Well, if you all remember, you can look it up, right? You can look it up. But it's also in this article and the short video clip that I'm going to put down below so you guys can look at that yourself. But the United States has long said, government officials, official reports, there's data about it, there's whistleblowers about it, that it has the ability, that they have the ability to manipulate the weather. Now, I wouldn't say control, right? I don't think that they can make a hurricane. I don't know, though. Maybe they can. You know what I mean? Maybe they can. But government officials have officially come out in the past, you know what I'm saying, for decades now, have come out and said that they have ways to manipulate weather. Okay? They call it seeding, right? So they're seeding the clouds, is what they call it. Now, do you think that if the government could divert a hurricane into a path that is, to their advantage, like North Carolina where all the lithium is, do you think that they would do something like that? Right? Do you think they would do something like that? I think they would. Now, does it sound far-fetched because of the technology? Yeah, I would say so. I've never seen any weather manipulation actually happen. So I don't know how they exactly do it. I don't know how advanced it is. But we don't need to know that, right? We don't need to know the intricate science of it. All we need to know is the people that are running the show at the moment are capable of absolutely anything. And they are willing to go to any length to get what they want, including risking or throwing away the lives of American citizens. They're doing it in the immigration question. people in America are getting killed, murdered, attacked by illegal immigrants. They're letting in terrorists that they have no idea who they are, where they are, when they're going to strike. They're letting those people in. They are risking nuclear war with Russia. They are risking a giant World War III situation with Israel, Iran, etc. And they're doing it all without asking you, the citizen, any questions about it, if you want to go, if you go along with it or not. So what would make anybody think, realistically, okay? What would make anybody think that if they had the technology to avert weather or hurricanes or whatever in a certain direction, you know, or to manipulate it to their advantage? Because otherwise, why would you want to manipulate weather if you don't want to use it to your advantage? There wouldn't be big studies, there wouldn't be big science projects on it. They would just do it only if it benefited them. So now assume that this government in America has the technology to manipulate the weather. I mean, look, we've seen a lot of UAPs lately that nobody knows what they are, what they used to call UFOs. Nobody can explain what they are. They move in ways that nobody can explain. We're not quite to the point yet where we're willing to say that it's aliens, but it's quite likely that it's technology that somebody has somewhere, whether it's America, China, somewhere else in the world. It's human technology that's doing these things, these UAPs. So if those things exist, and we're all basically gotten to the point where we've seen the videos, we've heard, what's his name, Fravor, talk at Congress, we hear all the people talking about UAPs and UFOs, and there's obviously technology that we regular citizens never thought existed that is out there for whatever reason, alien or otherwise. So if those things exist, people, how is it so crazy to say, hey, these people have been saying they can manipulate the weather. They've been saying they're able to turn a hurricane one direction or another by throwing something into the eye of the hurricane. Like I said, I'm not a scientist, I don't know. Watch the video down below. You'll get a little bit more information about it. And read the article, right? But it's not so crazy to think that if this government wants to get at this lithium, which is too difficult to get to because the people there don't want the mining companies there, and wouldn't it be fucking great if they had a way to get rid of those people? And don't you think that these evil, corrupt bastards would do just that if they could? Of course they would. So is it possible that FEMA is hiding their incompetence? That's possible. That's the most plausible, right? That's the most plausible. They're hiding their incompetence. That's why they don't want people getting into certain areas, especially Elon Musk, who's about free speech and telling people what's going on as he sees it. You know, but it could also be that they don't really plan to do much rebuilding because they need to get at the lithium. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out if this is going to be a land grab or not. You know, nothing has happened yet in Hawaii, right? Is it going to be a land grab in Hawaii? It could be. I mean, people are saying, oh, that was a conspiracy theory, far-fetched, the government is kind of trying to buy out that land. Well, we're not there yet. We don't know what's going to happen in Hawaii yet because nothing's been happening in Hawaii yet. So we don't know what's going to happen in North Carolina either. What we know is it's rich in lithium under the ground in North Carolina, right? We know that. We know that mining companies are trying to get in there to get to the lithium, and they're being blocked on all sides by local officials, state officials, and people who live there, right? We know that the government has admitted that they can manipulate the weather. They haven't really gone into great detail, although, you know, there are whistleblowers and papers and videos of people talking about it. But it's pretty much common knowledge that they could do something with the weather, right? We don't know yet. I don't know what exactly they can do, but we know that they have come out and said they can. And we also know that this government, especially these people running the show, overstep their authority in massive amounts all the time, and nothing is ever done about it because we have weak-kneed, spineless politicians that are supposedly running things, but they obviously aren't. They're being run. They're the dog that's being walked by these agencies and the bureaucrats that are in them. So we know all those things. So would it be so far-fetched to say, the government turned the weather in the right direction in order to wipe these poor people in North Carolina off their lands so that they can get to the lithium? You know, I know it sucks to have to be this. Joe Biden moment, people. Sorry. To me, this speculative. Speculative is the word I was looking for. I know that it sucks to have to be this mistrustful and speculative about every little thing the government does. But we have to be, people. They've given us no reason to trust anything they say. Nothing. And we can't. We shouldn't. Nobody should trust them at all. You know what I mean? Especially if the one agency that's on the ground to help people is doing exactly the opposite. If the one agency that gets a budget in order to help people in catastrophic situations is not helping people in catastrophic situations, instead, they're pissing away your money on illegal immigrants. Nobody agreed to that. No citizens agreed to that. No citizens agreed to any of these wars or putting money in any of these wars. None. So we have to start questioning everything these fucking people do. And we have to start voting accordingly, paying attention accordingly, and making sure that these people get out of power, never get back in, and only vote for people who are going to work for the interest of the American citizens. That's the idea, folks. That's where we need to get to. And again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record here with this. I'm going to say it one more time. If we don't do it with the democratic process as quickly as we possibly can, that means paying attention to what these representatives in your state are voting for, are doing, and voting them in or out accordingly. You know, being part of the democratic process, paying attention to what's going on, not relying on mainstream media to get your information and your news because it's basically all propaganda. People are going to have to start getting more involved, like it or not. Or these bureaucrats and the idiots that run them all are going to take over for good. And then there will be no way to vote them out. Then, like I always say, at that point, violent revolution will be the only option. And it is an option that I do not see people in America or any other Western country being ready to do on a mass scale. I don't see it. So it's either start getting involved and get these fucking idiots out of power, right? Demand from your congresspeople, your senators, your representatives, your mayors, your governors, demand that this insanity with illegal immigration stops, that FEMA money goes to people in need in America when there's a catastrophe, and the corruption is rooted out. Demand that these people start doing the job for which they were elected, instead of sitting back with your arms crossed and going, well, I voted for them, now they can take over from here, and we'll just wait for another 4 years to vote for their dumbasses again. Really, people, you see your country slipping away because you have been asleep at the wheel as a public, as a citizenry, and it needs to stop everywhere. Everything is falling apart. Even regular Americans, hardworking Americans, paid into the tax system all their lives, are not getting the help they needed because of a hurricane, and now a hurricane may end these people's existence completely, which in a country like America should never ever happen, and wouldn't happen if they hadn't been misrun, if the agencies and the government has not been misrun and misused and abused and corrupted over all these decades and all these years. And they've been allowed to get this way because the citizenry has allowed them to get this way, right? That's what it is. I'm sorry. I know people hate hearing it, but I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. It's time for people to start getting vigilant, remain vigilant, be a part of the process, and start voting these lunatics out of office. They don't need to be anywhere near power. Demand more. Demand more, people. All right. Now, on tomorrow's Insanity Report, I've got something good for you guys. We'll see you guys then. If you like my videos, if you want to see my videos and get my articles as soon as they're published and get them into your inbox, then you can subscribe to my Substack. You can do it below for free or for $5 a month, which I would really appreciate. And we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next Insanity Report, people. Hopefully, I've got some better news for you. But I do have something cool that I want to tell you about. And I'll do that tomorrow.